Please be seated. Whoops. Please rise. I'd like to introduce Erin Colleen Lauren, who is going to sing the national anthem. It's always a pleasure to hear you, and it's worth standing for. Now you may be seated. Thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge the contributions of the Carleton String Quartet, the Simon Bolivar String Quartet, and Orchestra to our program today, and welcome to a very special occasion. There are occasions when the university celebrates excellence, where we celebrate the contribution that someone has made throughout a lifetime to the world. And today, that contribution is in the area of music. And I think today, through this ceremony, we will all see that music is something that it transcends languages, it transcends national boundaries, that music is a kind of culture that the world can share. And that sharing music, as our honorary degree recipient has done, with those that would not otherwise be able to enjoy the culture and the language of music. He has shared hope, and through hope, beauty. And in the Maasai language, there's a word, osotwa, and it means both beauty and peace. And I think that when you share with people hope and beauty, you actually contribute to world peace. So the contribution that we're celebrating today is one that is of art, it's of culture, it's of sharing, but it's a contribution to a world that communicates better and, as we hope, in a peaceful fashion. I'm honored to be joined on the stage today by Madam Ana Carolina Rodriguez de Febres Cordero, the Chargée d'Affaires from the Venezuelan Embassy, the Vice Chair of the Carleton University Board of Governors, Ron Jackson, Jacques Shore, the past Chair of the Board of Governors, Tina Fedeschi, Executive Director of the Leading Note Foundation, who received on Saturday an award for her community service, along with Catherine Graham, one of our faculty members and one of our students. James Wright, Associate Professor of Music from the Music Department, who has spared no effort in making sure that this ceremony, other than the fact that I made you all sit down at the beginning, note perfect. Thank you, James. We have Peter Ricketts, Vice President of and Provost. We have Kim Matheson, Vice President, Research and International. We have Catherine Kelly, Marshal of Convocation. And I think I saw Suzanne Blanchard, Associate Vice President, Student Affairs. So I'd now like to call on James Wright to introduce Tina Fedeschi, who will introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chancellor. It is my very, very great pleasure and honor to welcome and introduce an extraordinary Canadian to our gathering this morning. Tina Fedeschi, Executive Director of the Leading Note Foundation, is, quite simply, a force of nature. A professional flautist with a Spanish orchestra before a scholarship from Alberta's Banff Centre brought her to Canada, Tina ultimately made her home in Ottawa in the 1990s. In 1999, together with her husband Gary, Tina opened a classical music store on Elgin Street, the Leading Note, with a dream of doing something quite significant with and for the Ottawa music community. In March of 2007, she traveled to Venezuela and became intimately engaged with the extraordinary educational vision of Dr. José Antonio Abreu, founder of the Fundación del Estado para el Sistema Nacional de las Orquestas Juveniles e Infantiles de Venezuela. Returning to Ottawa and inspired by her encounter with Maestro Abreu's El Sistema movement, Tina teamed up with National Arts Centre Orchestra cellist Margaret Tobolowska to launch an ambitious new program for the children of Ottawa. The Leading Note Foundation's Orchestra and Kids Singers programs are not simply another music program. They are programs that achieve community building through music, and they are about empowering our youth. They are about giving children from underserved communities the opportunity to learn and make music together, and the chance to benefit from the individual skills and community values inherent in music making. They are about bringing together children from diverse social, economic, cultural, and linguistic backgrounds, and creating opportunities for them to learn and make music together in a spirited community environment. They are about creating an educational program that will not only increase the child's ability as a young music maker, but will also instill mutual respect, improve self-esteem, and encourage creativity and teamwork. They create a vibrant network of Ottawa's children, music educators, and community members, and they encourage the growth and vitality of music programs in Ottawa's school systems. They're about teaching children teamwork, respect, listening skills, compromise, punctuality, discipline, and the ennobling and life-enriching benefit of being in touch with their creativity. In the end, like Dr. Abreu, Tina is passionate about one big idea: the realization that music can change lives. Please join me in welcoming Executive Director of the Leading Note Foundation, Tina Fedeschi.
Thank you, Dr. Wright, for that wonderful introduction. I'm taken away by that. Thank you. And what a celebration of life, of hope, and of the future it is today. And many thanks to Carleton University, Chancellor Chi, President Runter, Madam Sampson Vero and Professor Wright for creating such a special event to honor and celebrate the truly remarkable man, Dr. José Antonio Abreu. Giving this address is a true honor for me, and it is my privilege to share the story behind why I am standing here today. Through pure serendipity and thanks to a CBC radio program almost 6 years ago, I had the good fortune to learn about Venezuela's innovative El Sistema, a social program through music. I still recall the thrill of discovering that amazing initiative for mobilizing music education for both child development and community development. I was even more intrigued when I visited Caracas in 2007 and saw with my own eyes the remarkable success of the program, which had been operating in disadvantaged communities all across Venezuela for over 30 years. That was when I discovered that El Sistema was the brainchild of no less than a prominent petroleum economist. But who was this man? Who is this man? Dr. José Antonio Abreu holds a PhD in economics from the University of Pennsylvania, but his early education included studies in piano and composition, which he continued with a passionate commitment. He has held a series of academic appointments and has served as Venezuela's Minister of State of Culture, Special Advisor to the Venezuelan National Economic Council, and President of the National Council for Culture. He has garnered a number of prestigious international awards and accolades, including the TED Prize, Venezuela's National Music Prize, and in February 2008, Dr. Abreu was awarded Canada's coveted Glenn Gould Prize for his untiring efforts to promote music as a tool for human development. When he accepted the award, Dr. Abreu expressed his hope that his educational model might be applied throughout the world, enabling all children to participate in music as a human right, in order to build communities and help less fortunate youth find a voice and a purpose. At that time, he said, "No doubt this prestigious prize will encourage us to create fraternal and eternal bonds with Canada's new brilliant generation of musicians." When I met him briefly in Caracas back in 2007, Dr. José Antonio Abreu knew of my dream to start a Sistema-inspired program in Ottawa. And when we met again 2 years later, when he received the Glenn Gould Prize, I was thrilled and proud to bring 3 of our orchestra children to Toronto to meet him. He immediately took them under his wing and celebrated their music making, instilling his contagious passion in the magic of music for social development. He clearly loved hearing that there were over 24 linguistic backgrounds represented in our young musicians, and how our El Sistema-inspired orchestra program had developed to be a true reflection of our Canadian multicultural and diverse populations through the universal language of music. What a memorable meeting that was. All my life, I have known that music making and music teaching was so much more than making music. But Dr. Abreu has taken it to such a different level in so many different ways. How was it that this man understood better than I did the potential of my own life's work? I now know that Dr. Abreu is exactly this kind of leader. He has exceptional insight. He inspires. He is an economist who understands the importance of children and child development to national prosperity and to the overall well-being of Venezuelans. He is a musician who understands how music can nurture the soul of a child, transform lives, and bring harmony to the community. He is a teacher-philosopher who loves to share knowledge while courageously challenging the process. He exercises a remarkable capacity to both think and act. His motto being, do something with what you have. Don't wait for ideal circumstances, but do it now. And this is how he started with 11 young musicians in a basement garage 37 years ago. Here now is the man behind the music education program that has the world in awe. the program that produced Gustavo Dudamel, conductor of the LA Philharmonic, Diego Mateus, who led 5 Ottawa choirs and the NAC Orchestra in Carmina Burana earlier this month, and the world-class Simon Bolivar String Quartet, who is in Ottawa right now. We will hear this weekend and we will hear later on today. But more importantly, it is the program that today has 400,000 children in disadvantaged neighborhoods in cities throughout Venezuela, benefiting from the life skills and the pure joy of making music with each other. Dr. Abreu's life passion is known as El Sistema, but he says, the day we defined a system, it is already dead. It is constantly evolving because it is all about transposing the model to fit the child and the context of the child, not the other way around. The heart of the Abreu El Sistema is the child, the children and their music making. This is the gift of an individual who has made a lifelong habit of making a difference in his community, and this difference is now resonating throughout the world because it is such a universally relevant idea. Isn't it incredible to think how his actions in Venezuela have directly affected us here in Ottawa? Dr. Abreu, these are the reasons why we rejoice in Carleton University's decision to honor you today. Along with the growing number of Sistema-inspired programs in Canada, in the Americas, and throughout the world, Ottawa's young and emerging citizen musicians, thank you for showing the way, for bringing us El Sistema, the non-system system, which is so uniquely you and yours. Maestro Dr. José Antonio Abreu. Gracias de parte de todos nosotros en Ottawa y Canadá.
Madam Vice-Chancellor, in recognition of outstanding contribution to the advancement of underprivileged youth through music and education, I request that you confer the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa upon José Antonio Abreu.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Faculty Senate and the Board of Governors of Carleton University, I hereby confer upon Dr. Abreu another doctorate, honoris causa Doctor of Laws, and it has rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain thereto. And I'd like to ask the Council to please accept on his behalf. Dr. Abreu will now deliver his address thanks to technology.
Colma mi corazón de júbilo este día, en el que a falta de méritos personales que pudieran haberme hecho digno de tan insigne honor, tócame aceptar el doctorado honoris causa que tan generosamente me confiere la ilustre Universidad de Carleton, en nombre de todos aquellos distinguidos artistas y educadores venezolanos que durante 40 años me han acompañado con abnegación y solidaridad admirables en la creación y desarrollo del Sistema Nacional de las Orquestas y Coros Juveniles e Infantiles de Venezuela. El sistema incorpora 400.000 jóvenes y niños de medianos y bajos recursos procedentes de la totalidad de las provincias que conforman el territorio de nuestro país. Ellos dignifican su existencia, asumiendo desde la más tierna infancia la gloriosa condición de artistas. La activa presencia del Canadá en todos los ámbitos concernientes al intercambio y la cooperación pedagógica, social y artística con Venezuela, ha comprometido por siempre nuestra entrañable gratitud. En este solemne acto debo expresar con particular emoción mi más profundo agradecimiento a la excelentísima señora Presidenta y Vicecanciller Roshan Rontle, al excelentísimo Canciller Charles Chi y a todos los honorables miembros del Consejo Directivo de esa ilustre universidad. Vale destacar que a través del sistema orquestal y coral juvenil e infantil, el Estado venezolano promueve hoy vigorosamente el rescate y creciente desarrollo social de miles de jóvenes y niños procedentes de los sectores más vulnerables de la población, incluyendo niños y adolescentes en situación de calle, jóvenes y niños afectados de grave incapacidad física, niños incorporados a las escuelas básicas públicas y niños y adolescentes ubicados en áreas caracterizadas por su extrema pobreza. Por eso mismo, las Naciones Unidas han calificado nuestro proyecto como uno de los 10 programas más exitosos de Venezuela en la cruzada contra la pobreza crítica. Asimismo, el Banco Interamericano de Desarrollo lo ha proclamado como su proyecto bandera en el orden de la inclusión social y la integración comunitaria. Eventualmente el espacio público de toda Venezuela, plazas, teatros, escuelas, iglesias y parques, se ha visto literalmente tomado por el auge creador de las orquestas y coros juveniles e infantiles. El arte de la música ya no constituye un objeto de lujo. Si el quehacer musical abraza entera la cotidianidad, entonces un niño puede tocar el clarinete en su hogar ante sus hermanos y niños vecinos, otro el violín en la carpintería de su padre, mientras muchos otros pueden exhibir sus destrezas y logros en recitales y conciertos ante la audiencia del barrio, de la escuela, del pueblo de artesanos, de la aldea de pescadores. En Venezuela acudimos al encuentro del arte ya no solo en los museos y en los conciertos, sino en las personas y en las cosas de todos los días, contra el uso perverso del tiempo libre, contra la droga y la violencia. La pobreza material comienza a ser vencida por aquella inmensa riqueza espiritual que germina por y en la música. Cuando en octubre de 2009 tuvimos el honor de visitar el Canadá, en inolvidable gira de conciertos dirigida por el eminente joven maestro venezolano Gustavo Dudamel, pudimos fortalecer vigorosamente los fraternos vínculos existentes entre las juventudes musicales de nuestros países. En tan memorable ocasión, fuimos espléndidamente atendidos por la Fundación Glenn Gould, en las honorables personas de Glenn Morley y Brian Levine, a quienes abrazo afectuosamente. Igualmente saludo fervorosamente a Tina Fedeschi y Margaret Tobolowska, quienes desde la Fundación Leading Note proveen instrucción musical gratuita a más de 130 niños de Ottawa procedentes de familias en situación vulnerable. Interpreto este doctorado honoris causa como un nuevo gesto de la Universidad de Carleton hacia la nueva generación musical del Canadá y de las Américas. Estoy seguro de que una institución tan ilustre sabrá encontrar siempre modernas propuestas e iniciativas de vasto alcance pedagógico, social y artístico en el ámbito del arte musical. Para ello, la Universidad de Carleton podrá contar con mi modesto aporte y junto al mío, con la simpatía y el entusiasmo del movimiento musical venezolano. Señoras y señores, en la cultura subyace nuestra alma esencial e identidad profunda. Trabajemos sin descanso por una educación musical enfáticamente orientada hacia la formación, la rehabilitación y el rescate de la juventud y la infancia de bajos y medianos recursos, y especialmente de aquellos que provengan de comunidades en riesgo de exclusión. De la medida en que sepamos iniciar a nuestros jóvenes y niños y a todos nuestros ciudadanos en la fascinante empresa de la innovación, la creación y la educación por y para el arte, dependerá decisivamente la calidad y la dignidad de todos los futuros y la posibilidad misma de honrar el inmenso desafío de ser y de vivir dignamente en paz, justicia y libertad. Invoco la ayuda de Dios a fin de que nuestra existencia, nuestro trabajo y nuestra lucha no defrauden jamás tan noble idea.
I thank Dr. Abreu for accepting this honorary degree and honoring us and inspiring us today with the importance of art, music, culture, and reaching out to others. And we are the great beneficiaries of a triple inspiration today. We have the Simon Bolivar String Quartet, who's going to play Allegro Moderato Quartet in C major by Haydn. Please come and play. we could say obrigado and thank you again. This was very lovely. And now they are going to be joined by the Orchestra String Quartet. And together they're going to play a piece by Telemann and then a Russian folk tune. And as they do, I think we can all think to ourselves, this really is the finest of what symbolizes Carleton University, where art and culture join with the intellectual pursuits. It's interdisciplinary, where you have an economist promoting music. It's international, where we have people from Brazil and Venezuela playing with people from Ottawa. And it is a moment when the highest form of art is recognized. So thank you for participating in this, and thank you for welcoming this quartet and quintet. students here. So thank you all for participating. Shakespeare said that music was food, but we also know that food is food, and there's some behind the curtain. Please join us for a little libation. Thank you.